Wolves fans, welcome back to Wolfie TV. And what a massive result for us boys today. 2-0 victory against Crystal Palace. Much like a kebab after a night out, it wasn't pretty, but it did the job. It's got the business done. A massive win for us. Takes us on to 37 points now, and you have to feel that is surely going to be enough to guarantee Premier League football for next season. And it was a result that I think we desperately needed. We've not got easy fixtures coming up. We needed that little bit of a confidence boost, and we just needed to, quite frankly, get over the line after this season. It's not been the most prettiest of seasons. It's probably not the season that we expected as Wolves fans when we thought we had a pretty successful transfer window at the start of the season. But it's the season that has transpired. And finally, I think we can now eventually, after a long season, just relax and enjoy these last few games. Guys, as I said, it wasn't a pretty result. I think, but we won. I mean, starting off with the first goal, of course, it was an own goal. Myself sitting in the South Bank, I don't know if it came across to a lot of the stand. To me, it certainly did. There was complete confusion. It took me about 30 seconds after the goal to realise that one, it had gone in, and secondly, that we weren't going to see some VAR decision or some VAR review. I really didn't know whether to even celebrate or what to do. I was confused whether the ball had even gone back in the back of the net, and I felt across the whole ground that was kind of similar. It felt very stagnated celebrations, not probably the celebrations that we all would have done if we had fully were convinced that was firstly a goal and it was going to stand. But of course, when watching the replays, it was a sign of relief. Obviously, it did end up just coming off a Crystal Palace player and just finding its way into the back of the net. I mean, it probably wasn't our best game, wasn't it, in all honesty? But, defensively, we were strong, we were resilient, we got the job done. Jose Sarr, after a really disappointing game against Leicester, he came back with a bang. His kicking was a little bit off. Today, but he basically was there where it mattered, making some huge saves, particularly in the second half to see us over the line. And we did have a couple of chances on the break. I think, Lopetegui himself said, from what I've seen after the match interview, one of the ones I listened to, basically said, we maybe were a little bit too defensive. And you saw him on the sidelines, particularly when Adama come on, really screaming at him in particular, telling him that he wanted him and the rest of the team further up the pitch. But we did kind of get forced back. But one thing that did remain there was we were defensively strong. There was a little bit of a worry, but at the same time, now that I think back on it, there was never a point where I was really like, we looked like conceding. It was more just a worry because of how much Palace were attacking. And, it was just really pleasing to see us go on and finish it off with a second goal. Of course, we did have a chance prior to that. And I think maybe if Diego Costa hadn't been running across the pitch for the 85 minutes or whatever it was before that chance did arrive to him, he maybe would have just had the energy and pace to go on and strike that into the back of the net. But of course, the second goal, Ruben Neves, after finishes the penalty after a really good build-up, actually. Neto did well to keep hold of the ball. He then, obviously Neves then wins it back, actually, when it does get won back by the Crystal Palace players. And then Neto takes the ball. He manages to get the penalty for us. I think he acted really hurt. It was at my end. I think he maybe played up to it, maybe did the dirty tactics, which why the Crystal Palace players were a little bit annoyed. You could see them trying to pull him to the feet, saying, come on, get on with it. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway because Ruben Neves stepped up to the penalty. It was really calm, cool and collected. The keeper gets the right way, but it was just so far in the corner and so well placed. It gave us that second goal. Then we got to enjoy a last few minutes of stoppage time, knowing that the result had gone our way. The fans obviously then stepped up, were a bit elated. Obviously, Lopetegui did call for a massive fan reaction today. We perhaps didn't get it, but it always is a little bit quieter on those evening games. I think especially, those that are middle of the week, aren't they? The reality of it is I always think we do have jobs to go to, and the games never quite hit the same in a midweek compared to those on obviously a Saturday 3 o'clock. And it does now mean that we go into future fixtures with not really much pressure. We've got hard fixtures coming up. Brighton isn't going to be easy. Villa's not going to be an easy one. United, obviously Arsenal, and we've got that game against Everton now. By then, you do really think that it will be pretty much confirmed at that point, but we are definitely safe. I don't think actually we're probably going to need another point. It would be nice to get another 1 or another 3, and it'd be nice to finish the season strongly, but we can start to look forward to next season. I think next season's going to be an interesting one. I don't maybe expect some drastic changes because we did spend a lot over the January transfer window just to make sure we got over the line and we're Premier League next season. But I do think the squad will be freshened up. We'll have players that are coming out of contract, players being moved on, players that will be coming back, some loan players such as Mr. Fabio Silva, Ryan Giles, I imagine, Hoover, who's also had a positive second half of the season, who will probably be all considered by Lopetegui, as well as players coming back from injury, the likes of Chiquinho and Sasha, who have both obviously at the start of the season did pick up ACL injuries. They'll both be coming back, and it'll give a lot for Lopetegui to work with what will probably be another few additions coming in as well for him to really solidify that team. And you do hope moving into next season, this will be a one season scare for us really, and we will hopefully now look to move up the table and continue to maybe hopefully push for a top half space come next season. But overall, it might have not been a pretty game, guys, but in conclusion, we have done it. So to celebrate, do me a massive favor, hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Enjoy this one, Wolves fans. Take care. Goodbye.